Hello, my name is Haley Gillespie, and I'm a nutrition and fitness coach. I work with clients here in Garrett County and all over. And today I'm going to show you how I make my own salad dressing. So I think a lot of people don't realize how easy it is to make your own salad dressing, how you really don't need anything special that you probably don't already have on hand. And I think there are a couple benefits to making your own. Number one, the greatest benefit is that it's going to taste a lot better than something you'd find on a shelf in a store that's just made with lower quality ingredients and is just not going to taste as fresh. And the other reason is more than likely you're going to be able to make a healthier salad dressing than what you'd be able to find with ingredients that are fresher and with, so not necessarily like less fat, but healthier fat like an extra virgin olive oil, probably less sugar, and certainly less additives. So those are great reasons. I think that more than likely you might end up eating a lot more salad, which is certainly going to be a lot healthier for you. You'll impress your friends and family. So it's just a way to up-level any meal, I would say. So there are several ways to make your own salad dressing. I'm going to go over today just a basic vinaigrette, which is there's a classic French ratio of 1 part acid to 3 parts oil, although you have some leeway with that, and I tend to use a little less oil than that. And the nice thing about any salad dressing, you can play around with it, so you're not kind of stuck in certain ratios, and you can kind of play around with whatever you have on hand once you learn the basic ingredients of what goes in. So today I'm going to do kind of a lemon vinaigrette, and I'm going to show you how I make it in a blender, which I find is the easiest way and also gets the most creamy consistency, really combines everything and emulsifies everything. But I'm also going to show you a second, more of a balsamic vinaigrette that you can just make in a bowl with a whisk if you don't have a blender or you don't feel like breaking it out. So first we'll go into our lemon herb vinaigrette. And so first, obviously, we want some lemon. You can just use lemon juice, but if you have a high-powered blender like this, I like to actually use whole pieces of lemon because then you're getting a little extra fiber from that pulp, and it will just break it down so that you're not even going to taste any of that. This is seeded and peeled, and this is half of a really large lemon, or you could use a small lemon or a medium lemon probably too. So after that, a few more things I'm going to add. I'm going to add just a few tablespoons of white wine vinegar. And you can use all lemon juice if you want. Like I said, all of these recipes have a lot of leeway, but nothing is really set in stone. So just play around with them. I find when I'm making a dressing, I rarely am measuring out every ingredient to a T. So after that, I'm going to add a little bit of Dijon mustard. And this not only adds flavor, but it helps to bring everything together and emulsify things. So we'll go ahead and add that. And here, if you like a little extra lemon flavor, I've got about a tablespoon of lemon zest, maybe a little less than that. And you can just use any fine grater to take some of that skin off of your lemon. And make sure you wash it thoroughly, or if possible, this is an organic lemon, so I'm not as worried about having pesticide residue on it. Next, for a little bit of sweetness and to help combat some of the acidity, I have some honey, just some nice raw honey here. And this is about a tablespoon. You can omit this if you're worried about sugar content. You can add, maybe you want to make it a little more of a savory. Maybe you'll add some garlic or something like that. So you just have so many options with any of these. And once you really get going with them, they're so fun to play around with. So for our herb flavor, I have some thyme, and this is just dried thyme. And I'm just going to crumble this in to help release some of its flavor and its aroma. And this is just shy of a teaspoon probably. So as much as you like. If you find the flavor of thyme is a little overwhelming, maybe don't add quite as much. All right, and then we'll add a little salt, a pinch of salt, a little bit of pepper. And now we have most of our ingredients in here. So I'm going to go ahead and blend this up and get this combined, get that lemon broken down, and then I can start to work in my oil. So let's go ahead and break up our lemon here. so that is broken down. It's still running on low, and I'm just going to remove my lid and start to bring in my oil. Now, as far as oil, what I like to use is a combination of extra virgin olive oil, cold pressed avocado oil, and a little bit of MCT oil. Now, if you just have extra virgin olive oil, by all means, you can just use that. I'm going to speed this up a little bit just to start to create more of an emulsion. And great. So the reason that I like to bring in some avocado oil is because it's more of a neutral flavored oil. Especially good extra virgin olive oil is going to have a pretty sharp flavor that can be a little overpowering. So sometimes I bring it in, sometimes I don't. Both of those are going to be typically a healthier, less inflammatory fat than the really industrial seed oils and like the soybean and canola oil that you're going to find in most salad dressings, which are also going to be GMO and some other things that might make, depending on what your concerns are, going to possibly be a little less healthy. So I also went into MCT oil a little bit in the last smoothie video and some of the benefits of that. And I would just say, even though it's another neutral oil that blends really well, I wouldn't necessarily just use MCT oil. I've actually never tried it because there is a possibility that it could lead to some upset stomach. So that's why I don't do that. So we put in about a third of that. And I would say that I used about half of that was avocado oil, and then maybe about a quarter extra virgin olive oil and MCT oil, each of those, but perhaps a little more of the olive oil. So anyway, that blends up really nicely, and you can see I get a really nice creamy dressing, and that's really, part of that is because of having the whole lemon in there that I think adds a little more body to it, and part of that is just the fact that we use a blender and it really emulsifies the oil. I would typically use this on like a baby green salad. Sometimes I'll use it on more like a kale salad, but you'll just want to toss it and maybe let it sit a little longer with some of the more fibrous leafy greens like that to help kind of break down some of those cell walls and make everything a little easier to eat, and it'll absorb some of the flavor, which will be really good. So that is that lemon herb vinaigrette made in the blender. And next I will show you how to make a dressing with just a bowl and a whisk. So now we'll move on to our second dressing, which is going to be a balsamic vinaigrette. And I'm just going to make it the old-fashioned way, just with a bowl and a whisk. So again, I would typically make this in a blender, and I find it gets a little bit creamier that way and the consistency is a bit better, but I just want to show you a different way to do it. So again, this is a vinaigrette, so we'll kind of go back to that formula of 1 part acid to, I would say, 2 to 3 parts oil. In this case, I've also got a little mayonnaise on hand, which can help, also is going to be part of your fat, but can help bring everything together, and you'll get some of that creaminess you might not get without the blender. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my acid, and I have lemon juice. I have a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. You can use, again, any combination of acid that you like. This is a 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar. I find the taste of balsamic vinegar to be a little strong if I'm just using that alone as my acid, so I like to break it up. I love fresh lemon. I love the idea, the health benefits of having fresh lemon juice in here, but you can use any, again, you can use white wine vinegar, apple cider vinegars, a vinegar I usually make every year. You can, they even make coconut sap vinegar, maple syrup vinegar these days. You can make vinegar out of almost anything. So I've got my acid, and I'm going to go ahead and add, again, some Dijon mustard, and this is about a tablespoon. And again, flavor, it's kind of that classic French ingredient, and it also is going to help with the consistency. Another thing I'll just mention that can help with consistency is it's called xanthan gum, and you use it in a lot of gluten-free baking. And I typically don't find I need it, but it is going to help bind and hold everything together. So if consistency is a big thing for you, or if you want to maybe take out some oil, add a little water, something like that, which is another thing you can do with your ratios, then you might want to add a little bit of xanthan gum. It's don't need very much, just like a pinch or so. But yeah, that is a good point. If too much acid bothers your stomach or anything like that, you can always try substituting some out for something like water. So next, I'm going to add a little bit of sweetness, and I have some Garrett County maple syrup. So could use honey again. You could omit this if you're worried about sugar. I'm not going to add very much, just about a tablespoon or however much you like. And again, I'll season with some salt and pepper. And I'm going to go ahead and start to whisk these ingredients together. Get them really well combined. And I do think I'm going to go ahead and try a little bit of mayonnaise in here. This is an avocado oil mayonnaise, which tastes just like regular mayonnaise. I really like it. So I'm going to add a little bit of that and mix that in. All right, great. So got all that really nice and combined. And now you want to get your whisking muscles ready because we've got to add our oil and get all that in, which is no easy feat to get that all combined. Hence why I normally use a blender. But just to show you, so you're going to try to do this, just drizzle it in slowly while you're whisking, just like this. And this is just shy of a cup of oil. Check every once in a while to make sure that it's blending in. So you want it all to look like one and not really, really separated. You don't want to see the oil just floating on top. And you don't have to make your batches this big every time. I tend to like to just, not have to deal with it, and I eat salad pretty much every day, so I like to make a little bit more. But if you just want a quick, you could just use 1 tablespoon of vinegar and 3 tablespoons of oil and salt, pepper, call it a day. So don't feel like you need to, make a whole batch, but I find that it does save me time. All right, we'll go ahead and add the rest in there. And so you can see this is coming together pretty nicely. And if it's not, you can always, take a little longer with it, or even take a little, like a stick blender, and try to bring it together a little bit more. So you can always taste it, see if it needs anything else. Salt, pepper, a little more maple syrup. Maybe it's too acidic and you need to add a little more oil for your taste. So, and then I pretty much always store in a mason jar like this and keep it in the fridge. Now, do be mindful, especially if you're using a lot of olive oil, like half or more, it probably will start to solidify a little bit in the fridge. So just be mindful that it's not hurting it, or it's not really less healthy or anything. You may just bring it to room temperature a bit before you use it and try to mix everything up again really well. So that is 2 ways to make a salad dressing, and hopefully you enjoyed that, and stay tuned for more videos with the program. Thanks so much.